Welcome to the Indianapolis VA. I'm here to discuss all your options for cardiac care and help you to choose what is best for you. At the VA, you're truly getting quality care all under one roof.
My cardiologist spends an hour with me talking and help me understand my primary care. There's no place that can compare to the VA. There's just no place.
Before that, I'd been going to doctors and waiting an hour and a half for an appointment and doing this and doing that. And you'd go here and they send you over here, and then you drive another mile, get the x-ray, come back. This place, they do everything right here, and it's quick and professional and it's on time.
Because our VA Medical Center is the flagship VA of the state of Indiana, we are providing all heart services right here under one roof. That is our aim. That is what I am proud of for working here, because that is the motivation of the entire executive leadership, which is to provide comprehensive cardiac care to our veterans.
People may not realize the level of quality that we have here at the VA. Specifically talking about heart surgery, we've looked at our outcomes and our results in the past year, and compared to every metric in the nation, we exceed that metric for quality here at the Indianapolis VA, which is something that I'm grateful to our staff and our team. It's a group effort, and we're really proud of those results.
At the VA, we have a deep appreciation for our veterans, and we are passionate about providing the best care possible for you.
Anytime something changed, anytime he made a step forward or a step back, there was always somebody to explain what was going on to me. And I definitely appreciated that. That helped just the process of walking through this so much easier, so much better.
Every nurse on every shift was so kind. The anesthesiologist spent time explaining things, talking to me. We had so much confidence.
Every department I've gone to, the appointment has always been on time or very close to it. The nurses are fantastic. The doctors has been great. The x-rays, I don't care what part of it, they have been fantastic.
I've seen outside doctors, and I've had good doctors, but the second mile, they care about me, and they care about my family, and they've been nothing supportive. When my children were here or something, they would see that they bring a chair in for them to sit down. They made sure they were cared for, and they would bring drinks or anything else in. So I'd tell any veteran, please try the VA. You'll love it. They'll care for you. They'll take care of you.
Our team consists of experienced providers who specialize in different heart conditions and will provide you with the best outcomes.
Dr. Farkas and her team came in, and she is rated as one of the most excellent heart surgeons there are. So you can't get much better here than the VA. And the team that spoke to me and worked with me were phenomenal.
So Mr. Kern, one of our recent patients, he had one of the biggest operations that we provide, and that's replacing all of the biggest artery in the body from the heart to the brain, actually. It's so heartwarming for me to see veterans so thrilled to be able to get their heart care right here at this facility.
In addition to providing this world-class service, we listen to our veterans.
So they listen, when he's complaining, hey, I'm dizzy, I don't have any energy, I feel down, I feel depressed, I'm hurting through the chest. They listen and make adjustments.
The staff has just been so attentive.
Yeah.
And very great bedside manner, very personal. They make personal connection. It's just 10 plus with the care.
They explained everything. They went over it until I understood it, and they put it in words that I could understand.
Another thing that we focus on is in what's called cardiovascular imaging, where we use technologies such as cardiac ultrasound, cardiac CT, cardiac MRI, as well as nuclear cardiology to image the heart and make a diagnosis. We have all the state-of-the-art equipment to be able to do these things.
Physicians like myself and colleagues are also part of the Indiana University faculty and its world-class healthcare. And so they're receiving the kind of care they could get at Indiana University, Methodist, all of the other facilities in Indianapolis, right here at the VA by the same clinicians.
We have the equipment, we have the personnel, we have the drive and the motivation to provide the best care that we can provide to our veterans.
He's had an extraordinary recovery. So he has made a great jump forward recently, just in the last couple of weeks. So we're doing good.
It just has been amazing. He's lost 15 pounds since he came home, and he is just doing so well.
If I see somebody that's a vet, I tell them they need to come down here to the VA in Indianapolis because it's just awesome.
The Indianapolis VA has an exceptional cardiac team ready to serve you and your family. It is your new VA.